Hello, welcome back. Nigel here with the Nigel's Modelling Bench. Part 2 now of this Airfix Fairy Gannet build in 1/48 scale. And this is for the Wendy's Memorial group build over on Facebook. I'll put a link to the group build down in the comments or in the description below this video. Actually, I must put some pictures up of work so far. So, or I'll just put a link to the video, I guess. So basically, in part 1 we've got all this assembly done here with all our weight in the nose, so that's all good. We've got our wing spar in and everything's hunky-dory. Now moving along, we've removed all the detail from the parts ready for the Quinta Studio's interior set, and I'm just looking at the instructions and looking at how much of the interior is black. And basically, other than this headrest and frame here, everything is black. Now that is sprayed with Outlaw Paints Trainer Yellow, which is absolutely brilliant as a yellow paint. That's like one quick coat, done. And the blue I don't have. They suggest number 89, Humbrol 89. I don't have it, so I've just made a mix up. I've used a little bit of black, a little bit of white and a little bit of dark blue, and just made up to make that sort of grey blue colour. There we go for the headrest. It's sort of hidden away down in here anyway, so it's not really going to be seen, but there we go. So that needs to be masked up now when it's all dry, and we'll paint it black. The other thing I'm looking at is these side panels. In the instructions in the first page, we do all this sort of cockpit building and everything, and then we go over the page and it's telling us to fit these panels. I'm going to fit them in before we do any painting, and then we don't have to worry about any glue marks or anything. So we'll fit those in, and then we can paint the whole inside of the cockpit black. So basically that's going to go into there like that. Okay, so it's going to need to be clamped. So what we'll do, we'll clamp it first so we don't get any nasty glue oozing out everywhere. Clap that in there like that. Make sure the pegs aren't touching the glue joints, because then if the glue capillaries along that line there, it won't touch the peg. Okay, so we can do that. Got a frog in my throat today, I'm afraid, as usual. Some cement in there. Get plenty of cement in there, because as I say, it is a bit springy and we don't want it to be all loose and flopping about, do we? In there and in there like that. Put a drop in the back. So I'll do the same for the other three. There's a little one going in the back here. Okay, so that one's going to go in there like that. And that one will also be clamped in place. Run some cement along there, run some in there, some in the bottom. There we go. So that's that done. So we need to do the other side, let those dry, and then what I think I'll do is get this this headrest masked up. I've already got the gun sight masked up on the instrument panel there, so that's all masked up already. I think it's a gun sight, isn't it? It's a sight. So once we're all painted black and everything, I'll come back and we'll look at doing a bit of weathering, I think, and then we'll look at getting the Quinter Studio's interior fitted, and then we can get it all closed up. So yeah, we should get quite a lot done in this video. Okay, so we've got all our painting done now, and I've given it a very light dry brushing with this one here. This is Mr. Metal Colour 218, and it's great for dry brushing because you can, as you can see the brushes here, you can get the paint on the brush, get all of it off, get literally all of it off, and you end up with next to nothing on there. And that will last me now about a month, literally. You know, if I go down here in an inconspicuous area, you can see there's loads coming off, and then you can rub it away with your finger. So it's very, very easy to do. So that's that. Now what I want to do is start doing a bit of chipping on these seats. Because this whole cockpit is black, we need to bring it out, which is why, you know, this dry brushing is not really very realistic, but what it's doing is bringing out the detail so that when we look in there, we will see the detail. It won't just look like a load of black plastic with bits of vinyl stuck to it, which is basically what it's going to be. This is painted with LP65 rubber black, so it's not actually jet black, it's a very, very dark grey, which also helps. And that way I can put a black wash in there and it will highlight all the nooks and crannies and everything. We should be able to get quite a nice, good looking cockpit. So with the seats, I want to do a bit of chipping. You can see on this one here, this is like a backrest. So the headrest is that blue colour, we've got the yellow, and then I've sprayed it in the black, and then I've dry brushed it with aluminium, and then you can see I've done what I'm going to do, what I'm going to show you now. So I've got a little piece of sponge here. This is just like a piece of packing sponge you'll get with a camera or something if you buy something and it comes in a bit of sponge in it, that sort of thing. Just break a piece off, stick it in some tweezers, and then what I'm going to do is dip it in the lid of the paint, just like so, and then onto my cloth and remove all of the paint, and then come along and on this seat base, this is XF63 German grey, just come along there and just dabbing it on just to give a sort of a different tone. And I'm only doing it on the seats. I may do it down by the rudder pedals as well, and the floor areas, but we need some more paint on there now. I'm going to try with using Tamiya paint for this. It dries so fast, you're much better off using enamels really. But the advantage of using them, they're drying fast, is you can move straight on to the next process without having to wait for it to dry. And also you can put an oil wash over it and it won't affect it. If you use enamels, it will just blend everything in. So there you can see we've basically, and that is just German grey. So it's very, very subtle. I've done it on these seats here. I don't know why I took two off the sprue when you need one. But I've done it on those seats there as well. So you can see they've got that effect. So now what we can do, in fact what I'll do, I will also do this in the floor areas where the crew's feet will be. So that's down here, where they stood in and jumped in the plane. Down here, and I'm guessing down here. So it's just a case, as I say, it's just a case of adding some tone, and just a slight, it's the slightest variation. If you try and go, if you go in with a great big silver sponge and start putting great big lumps of silver paint in there, it just look horrible. It will look awful. So there we go. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use this one here, which is dark iron. Okay. Oh, needs a good stir. This one. I'll give it a stir and I'll be back. Okay, so this paint is much thinner than the Tamiya XF, so we have to be extra careful with this one because we could go way over the top. You can see how much is coming off on there. So what we do is go around the edge of the seat with this one, and just a couple of dabs in the middle. We'll go around the edges, a couple of dabs in the middle, but we'll concentrate on the edges. And as you can see, this paint is a dark iron, but if it's buffed, it polishes. You could get this to look like bloody chrome almost. You can see it goes a long, long way. Okay, and it's just giving it that sort of chipped and scratched. So when you see it against the rest of the model, you can see it's got that different sort of look to it. It's a bit like worn, like it would be. I'm going to get some more paint on here, I think. There we go. I'll just lightly dab some into this area here. Down in there, like that. Right. That is basically that. So now we can take some of this one. We've got to be really careful now because you can go over the top so easily with this. So get that out of the way. We need to make sure there is basically like nothing on there. I'm going to do one of these seats, and if I mess it up I only have to use one of them. Just on the edges of the seats where the pilot's got in and out, the buckles have knocked and the seats got scratched. Because it's easy to go over the top, but that's about what we want. Just get that sort of chipped and scratched look to it. Of course, if you're really good with your brushes, you can do this by brush and actually paint the chips on. But this is a really easy way to do it. Okay. There we go. When we give it a wash, it will tone it down, believe me. Now down here, what I'm going to do is only go in front of the rudder pedals, he says, and then messes it up completely. Let's see if I can get a brush. If I get a little bit of enamel thinners on here, so I think these Mr. Coloured metal colours are enamel based. I think I should be able to remove that. There we go. Cotton bud, please. Got a proper worn chipped effect now, haven't we? So, get the sponge and make sure it doesn't go off kilter. So let's tighten up in there a bit more. Add some down there, add some down there. There we are. So that's that. Right, now I know what you're thinking, it looks a bit harsh. And you'd be right to think that. But believe me, when we put a wash on there, it will tone it down. But what I'm going to do before I put a wash on there, I'm going to get some of this, or even all of the Quinta Studios sets on there. So I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so on with these Quinta Studio decals. They basically are decals if you're in America, whatever, but I call them decals. I'm in the UK. They are just like decals. You put them in the water. I've got one here. They slide off the paper and you put them on here, but you need to use glue. So what I'm going to do, this is 32 I've got here now. So I'm just going to put a little drop of the Big Ammo glue on there. And then I've got this decal here. I'm just going to rub my finger on there to get rid of the 32. I normally take numbers off with decals, but I'm leaving these on so I can identify them. The hardest part is cutting them out of the paper because they're all so close together. So basically I'm going to take this off of here, and bearing in mind its orientation. Okay, so we put the piece of paper down there, and I'm just going to plonk that onto that raised area. Okay, I'm not going to do all these on camera because I'm going to have to use a magnifier. And then with the cotton bud, just push down. Move the excess. Now what I'm going to have to do here, because this glue will ooze out and it will dry shiny, so we'll have to give it a coat of flat varnish after. But that's not such a bad thing, seal it in before we start doing washes and stuff. I'm just going to quickly look under my magnifier and make sure that is central on that circle, because we're black on black, it's difficult to see what we're doing. There we go. And I'm just going to wet the cotton bud slightly in the water. Let's remove that glue from there. Right, there we go. So you can see there's 2 panels on there. We'll do one more. So I'll show you it in real time. So this little panel here is 29. Again, I'm keeping I left the numbers on for identification and also so I can see the orientation. So we just stick that down there, leave that for a second. Okay, and I'm going to grab a drop of the ultra glue and stick it on that panel there. Of course, the beauty is that with using ultra glue or the microcrystal glare, it's water soluble, so you can just take the decal off the backing paper and use it. Now, I'm not sliding it on like I would with a decal because I don't want to slide the glue away. I'm just going to place that down on there like so. Get it positioned. Again, I'm going to have to use a magnifier, guys. I'm going to do these off camera and I'll come back down again and show you how things are looking. Okay, so quick review of Quinta Studio's interior decals. I really like them. It's the first time I've ever used them. I haven't been given these. I've bought these from Hannon's. And yeah, they are very, very nice. They are just like very thick decals. When you look at them here, I mean, if you look at this panel here, for example, you can see you have actual, so when they're on and they're dry, they look just like Red Fox because they're built up. You have the knobs, the buttons, you can see those buttons there. There you go, you can see how high they are. But they're flexible. Now, one of the issues with the Red Fox, there's pros and cons in both, I'm not putting anyone down here. One of the issues with Red Fox, they are very brittle. They are extremely brittle, so you have to be very careful. They even say that in their instructions, so I'm not saying anything they don't already know. Whereas these are flexible. I've noticed there's one on here. I think it's that one there, number 7. No, that one there, number 8. That one's designed. It's going to fold over. It's going to fold over this raised lump here. And I was a bit worried about that, but it's going to be absolutely fine. It'll just fold over. I mean, I may have to cut it if it's not the right angle, but whatever. Depends how I've sanded that. But you can see them here. I mean, they're in the side panels. They are absolutely gorgeous. Now, I think they need, they've got a bit of a sheen to them, which I'd like to get rid of because it doesn't look right with the flat on the cockpit. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably give the whole thing a flat clear just to see it. I'll give it a Tamiya LP23, which isn't dead flat. It's not as flat as this LP65 is. So it'll have a slight sheen, and then we'll do some oil washes and pick out some details and stuff. But you can see they are very, very nice indeed. Really, really nice. I will definitely be using these again. They are so lovely to use. You basically you put them in the water just like a decal. After about a minute, they're ready to come off. What I've been doing is taking them off the paper and placing them in with tweezers. I've been using MIG Ammo Ultra Glue, as you saw just now. Tiny little drop of that. Because it's water soluble, the decal doesn't have to be dried out. If you're going to use CA, you really want to get it dried out. And then the beauty of it is you get it in position, give it 30 seconds just to tack, and then I roll over it with a wet cotton bud, and the excess comes out, and the wet cotton bud soaks up the excess. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, and I mean, if they're sealed, it's going to really make them hold in place. But they're lovely. I really do like them a lot. Can't wait to use the seatbelts. I think they're going to be wonderful. So yeah, really, really pleased with that. So I've used one sheet, so we've got one empty bag. I've got another sheet here. So this is all the instrument panels. So I'm guessing it says here part 1. I'll have to look online, but I'm guessing this is. I'm guessing they do one set which is just your instrument panels, then they do another set which is your instrument panels on your sides, and then they do another set which is the instrument panels with the sides and the seat belts. That's the one I went for because they're all cut separately. I'm guessing they're going to be separate parts. But yeah, very, very nice. I just wanted to say, for fairness of balance, the Red Fox ones, once on, look exactly the same. I'd say there's no big difference in either. I have used Red Fox, as you know, and there's no big difference in either. The one big advantage with these is they're flexible. So if you don't have your panel perfectly flat, or if there's some ridges in it, it will go down over it. The disadvantage with the Red Fox is they're very brittle. It will snap if you try and push it down. The disadvantage with this over the Red Fox is on a sheet. You just literally lift it off the sheet and place it down. So you can, and also they give you instead of having these tiny little numbers, they give you a sheet, a guide, which shows you where they all are, almost like a sprue call out. Whereas these have these tiny little numbers. I've also noticed the numbers don't always show the correct orientation. Some of them are on the paper, so you instantly assume, here's number 16, for example. Where's number 16? Yeah, 16 is the right way up. 10 is the right way up. 13 is the right way. Some of all these I'm looking at are the right way up, but on here some of them were actually upside down. For example, that one there, which is number 35, that one was that way up on the sheet with the 35 here next to it, so I had to flip it over. But just have a look at the instructions and follow them. I guess it's not the end of the road if you get one upside down, especially in this scale. But yeah, really, really nice. You can see, as I say, you can see how high they are, the switches and the buttons and everything. They are gorgeous. Really, really nice. Right, I'm going to go and have a drive now because my eyes are hurting. So I'll come back and get some more done later. And as far as the instruments go, we're done. We just got the seat belts here to do, as you can see. Yeah, I've quickly dry fitted it all into the fuselage halves. You can see it's very nice down in there. So yeah, I'm going to seal it all in with a clear coat. We'll take it apart again so you can get a good look at it all. So we've got port side, starboard side. There's there's nothing in the back here to go in this centre section, but we've got the rudder pedals in there and the side consoles and everything. There's also some throttle levers to go in here. They're showing, or levers of some sort. They're showing it here. You've got 14 and 15, 2 of each. They give you 3 of each, which is cool. I'll put these in some tweezers so you can see them. So they are also 3D printed decals. So I'm assuming what you do is you take them off the backing and then just put a drop of glue on the end of them. I think what I might do is, after it's all clear coated and washed and sealed, I think what I might do is drill some little holes and just get them off the backing, let them dry so they go sort of hardish again, and then just glue them in. But they really do have, quite some 3D detail on them. You can see, hold them there, look at the side, you can see they have got some nice detail on them, so they're going to look nice. They're certainly going to look better than just a piece of photo etch sticking out. But they're also going to be extremely flimsy, so I think what I'm going to do is fit them directly before I put the fuselage halves together, and then that side console there will actually protect those levers. We'll see how it goes. But we also get, you can see we've got that trim wheel in the set as well on the side there, which is lovely, and we've got that little pocket, I think it's a back pocket or something there, which isn't in the moulding of the kit. But it's really, really nice and really quite easy to use. We've got the panel there. It goes at the back. No, it's not. This one goes at the back. No, this one goes in the middle. I don't know what the positions are. I'm sure someone will tell me. That one there is lovely. So that one's going in the middle. So we've got some gauges and stuff on there. And then we've got the actual instrument panel itself, which is nice. The other thing that's nice about these over the Red Fox, when you look at the back side, you can see that leather pad through the glass. You can see it's brown. And with the Red Fox, that would be white. So it's nice that it's brown through there as well. You could always just put a bit of brown paint on it. It needs a bit of brown paint on the sides. I've just noticed it's white on the sides. So they've thought to put the brown down first, then put the white, build it up with the white, and then put the brown on the top. But you can see the instrument panel is beautiful. It really is. Very nice indeed. And then finally, we've got this panel here for the guy at the rear. Radio, I'm assuming. So there you go. They're very nice indeed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give all this a flat coat to seal it in. and then go around and pick out the glazing with some clear to bring the gloss back. You can see they've already done that on here. You can see we've got the glazing, but I'm not that keen on the semi-gloss sheen of everything. I'd much rather have it all sort of flattened down a bit. I don't like to see a semi-gloss sheen in a cockpit this small. I don't think it looks right. That's just my opinion. So next we're going to have a look at the seat belts. Now you get instructions, separate instructions for each seat. I think what we'll do is pick the simplest one first, which is going to be this one. And I don't know why they're showing G18. Oh, I can see why. What we've got to do is leave the shoulder straps, because basically that bulkhead there is going to sit here above the seat when it's actually in the model. But you can see under here we have the actual brace where the, underneath the leather pad there, there's the brace where the belts are going to go over. So we need to put those in after. Those there are going to have to go in after as well, because they also go on the bulkhead. But on this one, the seat back is attached to the bulkhead. But I think what we're going to have to do is put these belts in with the seats in situ, looking at it, because yeah, same here. You see, we've got the backs are going down over the bottom. I don't want to let them set in a position that's not right. So I think what we'll have to do is put the belts in, at least on the backs. We can do the bases, we can do the bottom belts, but we can't do the tops. So what have we got here? We've got these straps going over the top. I need to have a close look at this and work out what's going on. You see it says E, C and D for this one, F and B for that one. So on here we have E, C and D. So D is the unlocking latch. E is going to be that. So that pad's going to go on the back of there to over there, and then that's going to go on the top. And then here we have F and B. So that's going to be that one and that one going together. So they're going to have to be glued together and then put on the seat. So we'll have a look and see how they go. I wish I had some spares to play with, but I don't. So we'll cut this down into one. So yeah, we can have a go now at doing some bases, I guess. We'll see how it goes. So what we need is an F and a B. The B looks smaller than the C, so maybe we'll go E, C and D. We've got A going on the top as well. I wish that, something, if Quinta Studios is watching this, I wish you'd make your instructions clearer, because that's not, I mean, where on earth is that going? I know it's like the pull strap that they pull on. I guess that's going over the top of the buckle, is it? I really don't know. I think you've just got to lay them down and see how it looks. Let's do the F and B. So F and B is going to be simplest. So again, I'm going to cut these out and try and leave the letters intact, so I know which is which for future reference. I'm going to keep the camera going because I'm not sure how this is all going to work out. So there's B. I'm going to have to get some new warm water as well. So what do we want? F and B. Oh, look at that, it's right next to that bloody thing there. So we're going to end up with another little one here. Careful not to lose any of these. In fact, I'm going to put them in the bag because it's just asking for me to pick them up and chuck them in the rubbish, thinking they're a spare bit of cardboard or a bit of old paper, especially if they're the wrong way up. Right, so we've got F and B, and then we're going to put an A on the top of it. But I think what we'll do is just put the F and B down first. So we've got a seat base here. So there's a seat base there. So that's the back of the seat is the wider part. I'd have thought the front of the seat would be the wider part. How's this designed to fit? Yep, the back of the seat is the wider part. Strange, I would have thought it would have been that way round. But hey ho. Right, so what we are going to do is put that seat back over there. In fact, what we'll do this one because it's going to be easier, and if I mess it up I've got another one over there. Okay, so which means I'm going to have to get some fresh water as well because this is cold now. Okay, they do make it quite simple for you. If you look very closely, I've actually used a magnifier here. I don't know if you can make it out, but on the end of that buckle you'll see there is a D. There is a D on there. It will focus. And that's where that decal there goes, and then further up there's an A, and that's where that other strap goes. So it's well thought out. So what I'm doing here is dipping these in the water. So that one's going to go in the water. And then I've got C here, and that one's also going to go in the water. Just like so. And then we've got D here, and that one can also go in the water. Right. You can see here I've done F and, is it F and B? Yeah, F and B. And what I've done, the actual pad there that protects the pilot from the buckles, I put that down on the base, you're going to see me do that, and then I've glued the belt to the top of it and left it a few minutes just to go off, and then I've actually glued the belt to the side of the seat here. So you can see that there. And what I'm going to do, I don't know how flexible it's going to stay, but I'm kind of wondering if we'll be able to just put a drop of CA on it and just pull it over and let it sit in the bottom. But it could be it needs a little bit of a warmth from a hairdryer or something. We will see. We'll see how that goes. So what I'm going to do here is take this one off. Okay, take this off the backing paper. I don't really know why I'm taking off the backing paper, but I am. I'm going to put that down there. I doubt if you couldn't see what I'm doing. Let me zoom in a bit. Hang on. Let's zoom in for you. Okay. The trouble is I lose the field of vision, whatever it's called. Right, so what I'm going to do now is put a tiny drop of glue on the back of there. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to put this belt with the D end of it on top of this, like so. And then just give that a little with a cotton bud. Doesn't all need to be perfectly centered and everything because it's all like separate pieces of fabric. So as you can see now, that is like glued together, but it's a separate part. And then I'm going to put this, a tiny drop of glue on the center there, on that D. And I'm going to get this, and where does the D go? I see they've got the buckles going forward, so what we'll do, we'll grab this little thing. I would normally be doing this for a magnifier, but I want to show you what I'm doing. So the buckle's going to be facing that way. How on earth am I supposed to pick this up? There we are. Now I'm going to have to go to the magnifier, so I'm going to have to turn the camera off and then I'll show you what it looks like. Right, there we go. You can see that now. So that's 3 pieces of decal there. All done. I'll keep moving it about just in case that white glue got on the back of that first piece. I don't want it to end up glued to here. I'm just going to leave it a few minutes just for that glue to tack off, and then I'm going to fit it to the seat. So I'm going to do that off camera because I need to do it under a magnifier, and then I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so you can see there's our seat belts on the base, glued to the sides, ready to dry. And believe it or not, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces there. So yeah, I'll do all the bases, I think. Well, I will do all the bases, not I think. I will do all the bases, then I'm going to have to do the shoulder straps afterwards because, as you can see, we've got separate bases and backs. So all looking good. So I'm going to have to get on and do the others, and then I'll do a bit of experimenting with the hairdryer or something, get some warmth on them and see if they bend over easier and sort of fall more naturally like a fabric. And then a bit of super glue or something just for an instant bond and get them to stay down. And then afterwards cut clear, and that'll hide any glue marks or anything and seal everything in, and it will kind of set around everything and give them a hard make it harder for them to sort of just pop off one day. I don't know about longevity, we shall have to see. If any of you have used these and found good or bad, let me know in the comments. But, at the moment I'm very, very impressed. I like these seatbelts a lot, but I really don't like photo etch seatbelts, as some of you know. But I couldn't even think of doing HGW in this scale, not with my eyes. But HGW are my favourite seatbelts. The air scale ones are also very nice. I'll be using those on that Stuka when I finally get around to doing it, when I get my mojo fully up and running, which is, you're glad to know, is happening. It's on the way, as you can probably tell. So yeah, first of all though, I want to get this done and do a beautiful job for Wendy, in memory of the lovely Wendy, who, as you know, bought me this kit. So there we go. Very, very pleased with all this, how it's come out. Not over the moon with what I've done with the floor there, but hey ho. Anyway, it's all going to look okay when it's all down in that dark interior with all the seats hiding it and everything. I mean, you've got to think, when that seat goes in, you know, there's not really much you can see in there. So there we go. Anyway, I will see you all in a second for you, tomorrow for me. Okay, now I'll tell you what, guys, these belts are wonderful. Look how realistic they look. I haven't even put the straps on the top yet. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Get this light out of the way. They are absolutely gorgeous. I've done that one, I've done that one. They are beautiful. So yeah, really, really impressed. I haven't done this, so I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm going to get my magnifier over. So magnifier here. And all I've got some very thin, it's called XT Thin VMS super glue. What I'm going to do is just put some on the back of here. Don't need much, just enough just to wet it. And then get the tweezers and just push down and hold it. That's that one done. And then with this one over here, again, get some on like that, and then just push it down. I want a bit of a kink in this one, that's why I've got it going so far forward, just to make them all look a bit different. That's one of the beauties of having separate belts. Sometimes when you buy resin seats, guys, with the moulded in belts, they're all the same. So they all look exactly the same. So I'll get rid of that magnifier. There we are. That's simple. They're so much better than the photo etch pre-painted because the paint doesn't crack off. Obviously there is no paint. And they are so soft that they actually go like real seat belts. So and the only way to get brass seat belts to go like that is if you anneal them, and of course if they're pre-painted you can't anneal them unless you want to burn all the paint off and repaint them yourself. So there we go. And what I'm doing here, just for a little bit of added, I'm just putting another drop of super glue in behind. Let that capillary in, just to help it along. Because what we don't want is these to be springing up. There we go, how lovely they look. They're great. So I've got to add the straps to the top now, those A parts, the little straps that sit on top. You can see them here, you can see the little A straps go on top. It's got to fit them now. Right, so moving on a touch, I fitted the shoulder straps to this seat back, and I fitted these two seat bases into the cockpit, as you can see, with their belts on. and then I fitted this seat back, and I fitted this piece of instrumentation here for the second guy. So I'm assuming he's the weapons guy, he's the pilot, and this is the radio guy. I'm assuming. So now I want to fit this rear bulkhead. I've also done the straps on the main seat, as you can see. If you're questioning, I forgot to mention this, in the instructions they tell you to paint this seat 62, which I think is like a, yeah, it's like a leather colour. I don't understand why that seat would be leather, so I started doing some research and I found pictures of, you know, modern coloured pictures of the aircraft in leather, with like a leather seat, but period photos, which were like from tech manuals, the seat definitely looked black. Well, definitely the base did. The back may well be padded. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go and paint it. Maybe I'll have to do some more research. At the moment, I can get away with still coming in and brush painting that, so we can have a look. But I'll do some more research on that. But certainly, it looks like, in the period photo, it looks like the base was black, and I don't understand why that seat would be covered in leather and all these seats would just be bare metal. I don't get that. I mean, this one's definitely down bare metal. You can even see the rivets on there. And then you've got this one. Where's the bulkhead? Here it is here. Got that one there, and that's black as well. So I don't understand why the pilot seat would be leather, but anyway, I guess it would add some interest to the model. But anyway, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is just put a drop of super glue. I'm going to get some fresh. I've got the old stuff here, which has been in here a couple of hours. It's gone a bit thick and tacky. So I'll grab. That's for PE, we don't want that one, we want the XT Thin. Here it is, XT Thin, Flexi 5K, absolutely awesome stuff. We'll just put a little drop there. Always wipe the cap off, don't just put the lid straight back on, because with this XT Thin, for some reason, unlike the others, the cap gets welded on solid. So what I'm going to do is get a drop of CA, put it on the back of that buckle. Again, I need to do this under a magnifier really, so I'm going to do a little bit here and then I'll do the rest off camera. I'll put a little bit there, a little bit there, and then grab my tweezers and just push that down, just like so. Just make it look, it shouldn't be like, it should be sort of looped over the top, not massively tightly, but it shouldn't be like that. That's good. The bottom is basically bottomed out on the seat. So we've got looped over the top. It's not pulled dead tight. You can see that buckle there is stuck on its end. That's quite realistic, in my opinion. So I'm going to put some on the back of this buckle here. First time I've used these seat belts from Quinta Studios, and I must say I am very impressed. I really do like them, especially at this scale. Just pull it down a bit. There we go. And then we'll have that buckle sat on the bottom of the seat because it's heavy. It's pulling on the strap. That buckle there is sort of just tucked over on its end. That's great. There we are. So that's that seat belt finished, other than the two A straps to go on the front. So I'm going to get some more work done. This one here needs to go in. Now you can see I've put the belts on that one as well. So that needs to sit down in there. It's a very snug fit. And what we can do here is put some extra thin. In fact, what I'll do, I am going to remove a little bit of paint, just to improve the bond. Remove a little bit of paint from there, and then we can stick that down there. Then we can put some glue in there. I'll let that bulkhead sort itself out. Now what I'm going to do now is put this into the fuselage just to make sure, because we've got some tabs on the fuselage halves that line up there, look. So I'm going to put that in there and let it set, so that we know that bulkhead You can see there's a couple, I'll show this half. There's a couple of little tabs here that bulkhead's sitting in, and there's a little notch there that it goes in between them. So beautifully designed kit. Really is very, very nice indeed. Just bring the other half in. There we go. We'll let that sit like that and dry, and then I'm going to get on and get the rest of those belts done. I also need to fit this bulkhead, which I'll show you how I do that, because I'm going to have to clamp it and stuff. In fact, we can do that now with the... So that has to go in. There's a little tab in the bottom here in the cockpit floor. There's a little tab down there. It needs to go behind that. So it's going to go in like that, behind that tab. And then we can get the extra thin. We can put a drop down there because it's going to be hidden by the seat, so don't worry about glue marks and stuff. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is grab a peg and clamp this top together, and then I'm going to put a drop of extra thin in there. You may need to come in and touch that up, but I'm not sure if it's going to be visible. We'll have to look. But get those clamped together. I guess we could also put a drop in there and in there. Just touch it, don't hang around, and it'll just dry. It'll be completely invisible. So that's all our bulkheads in. We'll leave that to dry like that, and then as I say, I'm going to go and get the rest of these seat belts done, and I'll come back when it's all done and I'll show you how it looks. Okay then, there we go, all done. That's all our seat belts done, all the straps in place. You can see there's the pilot seat, the straps on the back, and we got the armourer, whatever you call him, weapons master, our weapons officer, and then we've got the radio officer back there. I haven't put the instrument panel or the radios in because I'm still not sure if I'm going to be doing this flat coat on here. If I am, this one should be easy because there's just a couple of gauges, but if I'm going to be doing a flat coat, then I really want to be doing those gauges again over in gloss. I probably won't do a flat coat on the instrument panel, but it has got quite a sheen to it, which I don't really like. Same here, these side panels, you can see they've got quite a sheen compared to this matte finish here, and I'm not over the moon with it. So I think what I'm going to do is have a little think about it. It's certainly got to be left to dry anyway. I've also put those little throttle levers on, look. If you can see them, they're absolutely tiny. And there's one down at the bottom. I looked at a reference picture, and I can't see two levers on the back. There could be, but one of them seems to come back on quite an angle, so you can see I've just chucked that in a dollop of super glue. There's a little lever there. It's just another little piece of detail, really. So so there we go. But we'll just have one final look at it all in the fuselage halves and everything. See how it all looks. Check everything still lines up nicely. It's absolutely stunning kit, this. It really is. I thoroughly recommend this to anyone. You don't need to get the cockpit set, but if you're going to have this wings folded and having it all open up and everything, then I would thoroughly recommend it. There we go. You can see in there now, there's cockpit's looking really, really nice. Really nice. There is obviously, we've got more to go in. We've got the instrument panel to go in. In fact, let's have a look with the instrument panel. Let's see what it looks like with the instrument panel in. Let's see how much we can see, and if indeed we can see down behind it, because that was something I was a little concerned about. Because Airfix have moulded detail onto the back of the instrument panel, which means we can quite possibly see down behind it. Yes, we can. Because somebody did talk about putting lead in there, and I thought, no, we're probably going to be able to see that, but we can see the back of it there. So we may add some wire or something in there. I don't know. We may add something just to busy it up a bit. But you can see that's the most visible rudder pedals I've ever seen in a model aircraft. But you can see that when the canopy goes on, you're going to be able to see down in there. So we'll have to do at least some dry brushing and stuff on there. So there we are. That's our cockpit. And that is the Quinta Studios set with the seatbelts. The part number is QD48444. You can see there. So I got this one from Hannon's. So they had plenty of stock when I ordered that one. So yeah. So there we go. That's part 2 done of the Wendy's Memorial Group build entry, or of my Wendy's Memorial Group build entry. As you know, if you didn't hear me say before, Wendy actually bought me this kit, so hopefully she's watching from high up above and enjoying the build. So there we go. There we are. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you all soon for part 3. I'm not really sure what's next. I think we're obviously going to be putting the fuselage together. I've got to decide if I'm going to do this flat coat and stuff. I'll do that off camera. I'm not going to bother with painting on camera. Obviously I don't need to put these decals or anything in. There was a decal I noticed called up here, number 7, to go at the front. So yeah, I think I may put that one in there because Quinta Studios haven't included any detail there. So I'm guessing that decal's going there. They don't show it. They need to improve this, Airfix. They don't show. It's just a, you can see this number 7. Not really sure what decal 7 is. Where's the sheet? Here it is. Decal 7 is a round gauge, so that will be visible. Although the instrument panel is going to sit right on the top of it. Seems a bit strange, that. Maybe they're wrong. I don't know. In fact, the pilot would be able to see it anyway because it's down behind that throttle. But no, I'm not going to bother. Okay, so there we are. So I've got to decide whether we're going to do this flat coat. I think I will. And then we're going to give it a little pin wash. We'll do the pin wash on camera because I know that you guys like to see that, especially the newbies. And we'll probably give a little sort of grey pin wash around these belts as well, just to sort of make them pop a bit, give them some shadow effects. But they really are lovely. I recommend these Quinter Studio belts to anyone. They're nice, very nice. There we go. So yeah, very, very pleased with it indeed. As I say, if you want to go look at the group build, I'll put a link down in the description below this video, which is a Facebook group build. You can come and join in. It runs from the 1st of June 2024 to the 31st of December at midnight. There's no prizes or anything. There's no best models or anything. It's just a bit of a fun group build. You can build anything you want in any scale, but all I ask is if you do something German, please do not put the swastikas in your pictures. Cover them up, have the tail out of the picture or something, because Facebook are very funny about swastikas. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. As I say, I'll see you all soon for part 3, and get the fuselage together and everything in that one. That should be interesting. We'll do some rescribing and stuff. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe as well if you like what you've seen.